Tune in to What's the 412. Hear top city news. Explore Pittsburgh's 90 neighborhoods. Talk with city leaders about issues that affect you. Find out what's the 412 with Joanna Dovin.
This is Joanna Dovin with What's the 412. We are here today to fill you in on what's going on in your city. Each show will cover Pittsburgh's top city news, connect you with our most influential leaders, and highlight one of Pittsburgh's 90 neighborhoods. Today, we will talk about Pittsburgh's job and economic climate. A recent benchmarking study by Pittsburgh Today reports that for the first time in years, more people are actually moving into our region than are moving out. So what is the cause of all of this? Mayor Luke Ravenstahl will be joining us today to talk about his dedication to bringing more residents into our great city. We will also talk about Pittsburgh's third renaissance and how it's affecting your neighborhood. And now to Marissa Doyle for the latest city news.
Thanks, Joanna. Mount Washington's P.J. McCardle Roadway has officially reopened following a landslide in late January. Public Works crews have secured the area, and a cement wall has been fused to the hillside to prevent future landslides. We're just a few months away from celebrating the Pittsburgh Promise's first four-year graduates. We estimate that over 300 Promise scholars will be graduating this spring thanks to the scholarship program. Recently, Mayor Luke Ravenstahl declared it Pittsburgh Promise Day in the city of Pittsburgh during a proclamation ceremony with graduating Promise scholars. Since Mayor Ravenstahl and the Pittsburgh Public Schools founded the Promise in 2007, over 3,000 students have benefited from the program, and scholarship amounts have increased up to $40,000 per student. Visit downtown Pittsburgh and you'll notice 11 formerly vacant storefronts have transformed into pop-up retail and art displays thanks to Project Pop-Up Downtown. The new program, led by Mayor Ravenstahl and the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership, provides local talent with free rent for up to a year and a small grant to create fun and quirky displays. Maps to tour the displays can be downloaded at projectpopuppittsburgh.com. Again, that's projectpopuppittsburgh.com. This has been today's top stories. Now back to you, Joanna.
Thank you, Marissa. And joining us for our first show is Mayor Luke Ravenstahl, here to talk about Pittsburgh's third renaissance. Thank you for joining us, Mayor.
Thank you, Joanna. It's great to be here.
So we hear a lot about Pittsburgh's third renaissance, especially lately. A lot of development happening downtown and in other neighborhoods. But what does this renaissance really mean to you?
Well, this renaissance is, as you mentioned, about revitalization all throughout the city of Pittsburgh. It's not just a downtown renaissance. It's focused on all of our neighborhoods. The URA does a great job, a very aggressive job in investing in all of those neighborhoods. And we've been recognized time and time again by national and international publications about all the good things that are happening here. We're in the midst of our third renaissance, and I'm proud to say that that's a renaissance that's affecting every neighborhood, and that's something we'll continue to focus on, and I think we all as Pittsburghers should be very proud of.
And I think for many residents, it's very nostalgic, the term Renaissance. You had Renaissance 1, the environmental transformation that our city experienced in the 50s, and then Renaissance 2 with the new corporate presence downtown, lots of new skyscrapers. But right now we're seeing more skyscrapers as well as neighborhood investment, so it's very exciting.
That's exactly right. With, of course, the investment in PNC, our work in Market Square, downtown is really buzzing, which is great. But we didn't want to isolate it just to downtown, and that's why you see so much economic development happening in neighborhoods like East Liberty. You see things that are happening on the north side. No matter which end of town you go, north, south, east, west, there are things happening, and that's something, again, that's a priority of ours and we'll continue to focus on.
Thank you, Mayor. And so having third-party recognition about all the great things happening here is really good for us. Pittsburghers, sometimes we're down on ourselves. But to hear from National Geographic that we're one of top 20 places to visit in the entire world, and then a recent study by Pittsburgh Today reports that Pittsburgh's unemployment rate remains one of the lowest and is still well below the national average. So what do you think accounts for this?
Well, there are a lot of factors that go into that. First of all, I think we should be very proud of the fact that that's a true statement, that our unemployment rate has remained well below the state and national average all throughout this recession. That's because of the diversification of our economy, from the eds and the meds to the financial sector. Those are stable employment bases. In fact, last year we grew over 25,000 jobs here in the Pittsburgh region. Wow. People would be surprised to know that we have more jobs here today in the Pittsburgh region than we did at the height of the steel industry. So we're doing some really good things. There's still work to do. We still, of course, never rest on our laurels, but at the same time, we should recognize and be proud of the fact that when you compare Pittsburgh to other cities throughout the country, specifically those in the Rust Belt, that we're doing some really good things, and I think our unemployment numbers prove that point.
And the high-tech industry is really fantastic here. Google, from 2 employees to how many now?
They're well over 200. I was actually just at Google this week. We're looking to potentially expand their presence in East Liberty. They started with 2 employees downtown, expanded out to CMU. They outgrew that space quickly, and then of course had to move into Bakery Square in East Liberty. Just a great Pittsburgh story. Google could be anywhere, but we heard it again when we were there this week. They want to be in Pittsburgh. Their employees love it. It's a great place to work, and it's a great story about the new Pittsburgh economy, that knowledge-based economy, and all those wonderful minds that we have at Pitt and CMU and our other universities.
It's really an amazing story. And so the third-party study that I referenced, Pittsburgh Today, evaluates our city in several categories, and it compares our city with other benchmarking places like Cincinnati and Cleveland. And so how are we doing with regard to other cities of our size? In these categories, they compare us with our in the economy, in education, public safety, and transportation. So in all of these categories, we outflank the rest. But which category do you think Pittsburgh is the strongest in? So we're looking at economy, education, and public safety.
Well, I think it's hard to pick just one. I think education, with the creation of the Pittsburgh Promise, is something that puts Pittsburgh ahead of those other cities. Now have over 3,000 kids taking advantage of the Promise. The first graduates are coming out of school now, which is great. That cycle has turned itself over. Now we have educated young people that are ready to enter the workforce. So education is important, but I also look at public safety. For the 4th year in a row, we've had historically low crime rates. We're fighting crime more aggressively. The police department and other public safety agencies are doing a great job at keeping this city safe. So you look at that. You mentioned transportation as well. I think we have an opportunity to continue to get better as a city in terms of transportation. We launched Move PGH, which is a collaboration of all the transportation agencies in the region to figure out how we better can do some things, how we move people around better, how we create walkable communities, how we encourage people to bike to work, walk to work, take public transportation. So in order to be that vibrant city, that city that's America's most livable city that people want to move to, you have to have good transportation systems. And going forward, Move PGH will allow us to have that blueprint and plan as we look forward to the future of transportation in our city.
And so this is the city's first comprehensive plan with regard to transportation?
It is. It'll be, when it's done, it has a long way to go, a lot of community input, a lot of stakeholders will be at the table, but it will be a comprehensive plan, the first ever of its kind in Pittsburgh's history. It'll look 25 years out in terms of what we need to be doing now to have that transportation system that we want to see. So great endeavor, and one that we're excited about, and we think will allow us to really think through economic development projects and future development as it pertains to transportation.